That book, my Mishkan book.
Yeah, we all need one. It's like almost did iPad work.
I like to buy it. I don't know.
What's worth buying is the big print edition.
I don't think I need that yet.
Glasses.
I still can see.
I have to say the big print is very useful.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe in the Hebrew, probably.
We are going to get started, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to mute everyone, but
okay. Hey, Max.
And then we're going to invite Noelle Gruenstein to light our Shabbat candles for us.
Nicole Gruenstein.
All right, Nicole, whenever you're ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you so much. We're now going to turn to page 128. Now turn to page 130. Now turn to page 131. all the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai, all Adas. Shiru Adonai, Shir Hadash. We'll now turn to page 132. Orzaru ala tzadik, uleishelev simcha. Orzaru ala tzadik, uleishelev simcha. Simchu tzadikim Adonai, lehudu lezecher kodsho. Simchu tzadikim Adonai, lehudu lezecher kodsho. Now turn to page 134. Zamru l'Adonai lechino, lechino, b'kol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai lechino, lechino. We're now on page 135 at the bottom. Romebu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishachavu e'hakodsho. Romebu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishachavu e'hakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romebu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romebu. Romebu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishachavu e'hakodsho. Now turn to page 138. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 שמור וזכור לדיבורך, איש מינו אל המנוחה, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת תפילה. לקראת שבת לכו ונאכה, כי הנה כל הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת אדם, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת אדם, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בעורף מאורי, אורי שתעברי, כבוד אדוני עלי איתה. לך דודי לקראת אדם, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת אדם, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום הטרף עלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת אדם, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת אדם, בני שבת נקבלה. Now turn to page 140. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך היום, לזמר לשמך היום. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך היום, ולזמר לשמך היום. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, לאמונתך בלילות, הלב אסור ועלינו, עלי ויום תחילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך היום, ולזמר לשמך היום. Now turn to page 144. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בלמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עלמי עלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירם בעלמה, ואמרו Amen. We'll now turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai, Amen. Baruch Adonai, Amen. Le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yai, 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 We'll now turn to page 148 and read together in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, ruling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai Tzevaot shemo, El Chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamarim Haravim. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shocheinu v'kumeinu, nasiach b'kukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, me'avtecha, al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue on page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, וכשופך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We'll turn to page 158. Turn to page 160. We'll now turn to page 162. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתו לה. ושמרו לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. Now we're going to turn to page 164 for the silent Amidah, where we will chant and sing together Adonai Tzevatai, continue silently, and then come back together at the end. Adonai Tzevatai tiftach, ufi hagit yilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai Tlim Elohim. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, oh my rock and my redeemer.
As we move to the Misha Berach this evening, our hearts and our minds turn to those who are in need of healing of the mind, of the body, and of the spirit. As I read the names of those that our community are thinking of this evening, I invite you to write the names of anyone you are additionally thinking of in the chat. Robert Posner, Joyce Weinberg, Rick Gold, Stu Pollock, Jane London, Phyllis Silver, Catherine Gruino, Amuna Chava, Sandra Furman, Morty Lynn, Raina Walsh, Deidre Klein, Stephanie Skitt, Nancy DeMatte, Jean Bensidone, Gloria Teradash, Judy Stern, Miriam Cornfield, Roz Brody, Hannah Ruth Batsara, Marilee Silverberg, Louis Davidson, Susan Spruce, Bagel Tzipora Bat Elisheva Bat Sarah, Richard Gambino, Michelle Sawicki, Adel Basha Bat Yitzchak, Sivi Menachem Ben Chaim, Rivka Bat Devora, Amy and Gavin Tucker, Janice Kurz, David Dowling, Neil Rosen, Eileen Rosen, Elliot Rosen, Israel Ben Yitzhak, Ben Sion Ben Moshe, Lorraine Danis, Buddy Kossoff, Shelley Newmark, David Kyle Klotman, Rivka Bat Rachel, Sarah Bat Chana, Moshe Eliezer Ben Sivia, Peretz Ben Yehuda, and Leah Bat Naomi.
Now it's my great privilege to once again invite up my dear, dear friend, Max Antman, to deliver the Devar Torah for us this evening. He is currently a second-year rabbinical student at HUC on the LA campus and serving as the rabbinical intern at Congregation Sukkot Shalom in Juneau, Alaska.
Hi, everyone. Thrilled to be with you all again on this Shabbat. There is a tendency within our society to view each new year as a clean slate, a fresh start, a do-over. As if at the stroke of midnight on December 31st, all of our troubles from the previous 365 days will just disappear. It's like having a gigantic blackboard in our homes, one that we have been writing on since January. All of our worries, our doubts, our concerns for the world have been jotted down on that blackboard. And on December 31st at 11:59 p.m., we get to wipe it clean and start again with better habits, renewed optimism, a fresh approach. That's the way society has taught us to view the end of a year. As a curtain call, a celebration with champagne, romance, midnight kisses if we're lucky. And so this year, we find ourselves in a precarious situation, one where we are forced to ask, well, what about 2020? What about the year when a pandemic shut down life as we knew it, when millions of Americans were infected with a virus and almost 350,000 were killed? What about the year when white people finally started paying attention to police brutality? When folks across the country came out in droves to protest white supremacy and systemic racism? What about the year when a president tried repeatedly to overturn an American election and retain power, when members of the United States government lied about the safety and security of our voting systems while simultaneously working to suppress the vote of marginalized communities? How do we start fresh after that year? How can we possibly wipe that blackboard clean? This week, in Parshat Vayigash, we entered the third and final act of Joseph's unfolding tale. His brothers, the men who sold him into slavery many years prior, have returned from Canaan with their youngest sibling, Benjamin, and Joseph has taken him prisoner as punishment for their betrayal. The brothers plead for Benjamin's release, explaining that their aging father Jacob will die without his youngest son, as he has already lost another. They even go so far as to offer themselves up in Benjamin's place. Seeing the grief and regret in his brothers' eyes, Joseph reveals his true identity to them, forgives them for selling him to the Egyptians, and with the permission from Pharaoh, he invites them to return with their father and settle in the land of Egypt. Take your father and your households and come to me, he says. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you shall live off the fat of the land. Now when Jacob arrives in Egypt, Joseph brings him before Pharaoh, who asks him, how many are the years of your life? Biblical scholars tell us that this is an odd question for this particular setting and may reflect the fact that Jacob appears extremely old. Jacob responds, the years of my sojourn on earth are 130. Few and hard have been the years of my life, nor do they come up to the lifespans of my fathers during their sojourns. Rashbam, a biblical commentator, writes that this answer indicates Jacob is not nearly as old as he looks, but that various hardships in his life have left their mark on his physical appearance. We can assume that the perceived death of his son Joseph all those years ago has aged him greatly, and that even as they are reunited, the mark of that trauma remains. It would be a relief if at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, we were able to truly start fresh, without the fears and anxieties that engulfed this last year. Or wake up on January 1st and think only about the diet and exercise routine we want to try out during this new year. But just as Jacob carries with him the pain of his past, 2020 has left a mark on our society and on our world. And that doesn't just go away at the stroke of midnight. In next week's Parsha, we learn that despite his advanced age, after reuniting with Joseph, Jacob lives an additional 17 years, making him 147 at the time of his death. As he predicted to Pharaoh, this is a much shorter lifespan than his father's, as Isaac died at 180 and Abraham at 175. But Joseph does not seem to mind. Rather, he uses his remaining years to get to know his grown son, Joseph. And on his deathbed, he exclaims, "I never expected to see you again. And here God has let me see your children as well." Jacob views these 17 years as a gift from God, and he makes sure not to waste them. He blesses his son Joseph, as well as his grandsons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And then he dies. Living to see the year 2021 is a precious gift, one that many will not have the opportunity to collect. So those of us who are fortunate enough to enter into this new year have a responsibility not to waste it, to use what we have learned in 2020 to make our country and our world a kinder and more just place to live, to hold our members of Congress accountable for their complete inaction on getting vital relief to struggling Americans throughout this pandemic, to tear down structures of institutional racism and invest real money and resources into the communities of color we claim to care about, to address the climate crisis with the fierceness needed to save our beautiful planet, to bless the children and grandchildren we didn't know we would ever have the opportunity to meet. It was President Obama, Barack Obama, who said, "It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to where we are today, but we have just begun. Today we begin in earnest the work of making sure that the world we leave our children is just a little bit better than the one we inhabit today." A used blackboard can never truly be wiped clean, because every stroke of chalk leaves a mark, a faded mark, but a mark, constantly recreating the backdrop upon which we write our new dreams, worries, doubts. There are no clean slates, despite what society may teach us, and there shouldn't be, because the marks left by 2020 are too significant to forget, too devastating to leave behind. They should remain with us, a faded reminder of what we've gone through and the impetus for demanding meaningful and lasting change. As we approach the end of this historic year, and every year, we may choose to celebrate with champagne, romance, even a midnight kiss, and that's okay. But when it comes down to it, at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, the question should never be, how do we start fresh? But rather, how will we do better? Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Max, for those powerful words. I'm now going to invite up our president, Ron Klausner, to deliver our announcements for the week.
Thank you, Lauren. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Max, for those words of wisdom. And thank you, Lauren, for bringing the shalom, the peace, to my Shabbat Shalom. Your singing is magnificent. And thank you, Aaron, for also contributing to our services. Tomorrow morning, we will have Shabbat morning services at 10 a.m., followed by Torah study at noon. Sunday, we will be having a virtual tour of the Museum of the Jewish People in Tel Aviv about synagogues. I think it's about the synagogue in Florence this Sunday at 4. If you haven't signed up for it, contact Toby Spitz, shoot me an email, but we have a lot of people signed up already, and it looks great. No Hebrew school or B'nai Mitzvah classes this week. And however, the Social Justice Committee will meet as usual Monday at 5 p.m. As far as our new year, we're going to build on 2020, and some of the additional highlights will be Myra Peskowitz leading lunchtime conversation on compassion and the heart of Jewish spirituality. Rabbi Dan will be back and resume his classes on the prophets and Pirkei Avot. Lorraine Pepper's art workshop will guide us through creating origami cranes. And internationally known concert artist Eleanor, I think it's Risa, will be singing in Yiddish and English. So those are just a few things to look forward to in January. Stay tuned to our weekly e-blasts, and you can find out all the details. If you're not getting any of the emails, looks like everyone here is, let us know. And please feel free to stay for a few minutes. Join us for our virtual Oneg Shabbat after services. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you, Ron. We're now going to turn to page 586. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue on page 590. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
It's a fearful thing to love, what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. As we move to the Mourner's Kaddish, and I will be reading those who our community is remembering tonight, and if there is someone who you'd like to add to the chat, please feel free to do so. Miles Ambrose, Fred Eber, Nancy Fisher, Saul Fisher, Edwin Friedman, Sandra Friedman, Lucy Gladstone, Louis Herr, Philip Idone, Phyllis Katz, Laura Kurz, Madge Judith Parcher, Steve Popkin, Vera Shaps, Norma Small, Marjorie Weinberg Berman, Anne Weiss, Marvin Weiss, Serge Rosenblatt, Frank Britz, Miriam de Rothschild, Thomas Nash Glynn, Beatrice Gruber, Philip Heller, Sylvia Honig, Ruth Genzer Kahn, Rose Kaplowitz, Bertha Karp, Rain Kelman, Victor Kessler, Vera Lee, Raymond Levin, Emily Levy, Bob Matlick, Barry Metzger, Jacob Oberman, Stephen Osofsky, Rudolph Proper, Amy Elizabeth Shapiro, Mayor Jacob Simon, Philip Spiegel, Andrew Strasser, Nat Zimmerman, and Vivian Bader.
We continue together on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalmad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kari v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olam
Amaya Yiparach.
Yitbarach, V'Shabach, V'Pa'ar, V'Traman, V'Naseh, V'Tadar, V'Taleh, V'Talal, Shmei Kudashah.
Barichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. And we'll continue with those words at the bottom of the page. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imenu. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imenu. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imenu. Amen. If you have a glass of wine or grape juice, I invite you to raise your glass. And we are on page 123 in our Siddur. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zicharo lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrahei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, v'otanu kitashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. We're going to